There you go. Okay, so you're driving, so I know you can't really look too much, but I'm just gonna run through. So I'm here with Genesis. She's in a different. I'm here with Genesis. She's in a different organization, but we're talking about both organizations, and I'm about to give her a rundown about mine.
Oh, awesome!
So I wanted to do two birds, one stone, and so you can listen to the rundown.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, can you hear me well?
Yeah, most of the time.
This is Dan. This is Genesis. Yeah, you can. Okay. So we have the Waking Hearts is a non-profit, and then it's an artist alliance, a freelance guild, and an art revival. Those are the components of how it's made. It's similar to a new age union in the way that it's similar to a union in the way that you get together with a bunch of people for the same goal and you lobby for it basically to a certain extent. And also, yeah, you push some kind of agenda together, whatever it is. It's mainly to protect your group, right? So then we have we have four different groups that we interact with. We have artists, patrons, community, and partners. In the artists, we have waking artists, which are anyone that is an artist or will be an artist, so anyone. And then we have artists, who are members. In the waking artists, we have volunteers, members, apprentices, leaders, and mentors, in that order. And we will facilitate a way to run people through that system. So if people enter the Waking Hearts ecosystem, they will go through these 5 processes. They can, or like at least one of them. Then finally, the artists are the members, and what they're dedicated to is to train themselves in leadership, entrepreneurship, connection, and waking art, which I'm not really going to go too much into, but I will. So leadership, these are values and qualities that artists already have, and they just need to hone them and own them. So I picked them for us to just practice them. So any program or project or initiative that the Waking Hearts has trains the artist into leadership, entrepreneurship, or connection, or waking art. Waking art is simply obvious art that improves the culture. It's like awareness, it's knowledge, information, it's very clear. It's basically a PSA, public service announcements, but through art. Because art is communication, and that's the key here in the waking art. So it's basically like memes, spreading information, but through art. Okay.
Got it.
So those are the roles, like the players in the artist group. Then we have patrons. Patrons are the ones that pay for the things, for everything. So the artists will be getting paid for everything they do. We just need to find the patrons that will fund that. And those are small businesses, foundations, and corporations. We just need to have a different angle for everything. For example, for small businesses, we give them discounted art production, right? And several other initiatives that we've come up with. Foundations, we ask them for money because we're going to be serving the community. And corporate, we're going to give them productions also. So the key to the patronage is this thing that's called money transmutation, which I'm going to get into that later. No, it sounds very, very interesting. Okay.
Did you say transmutation?
Yes. waking businesses, and then hardships. So waking businesses are businesses that have the same goal as us in the terms of making the world a better place. So that could be almost any business. Right. And then we partner up with them because in the Waking Hearts we want to create a system of non-competition. So everybody is our partner. We don't compete. So in some way we figure out how to have them be our partner.
So, sorry, Rico, in terms of businesses being your partners, do you mean in terms of helping out the artists with like marketing and other services, or something else?
Let's say that, just give me one random business, and I'll tell you how it would match. Okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say Home Depot, right?
Yeah.
So if Home Depot was a waking business and they partnered up with the Waking Hearts, it's like we will figure out a way to provide some kind of service with Home Depot that provides some kind of service to the community.
Okay.
And it promote our agenda, which is to improve society. Right? So, and even if I found like another similar group, let's say another non-profit that was doing the same thing as us, we wouldn't compete. We just figure out which thing they do that we don't do, and then send the things to them when we don't do them, and then vice versa. Because everybody has their own style, so it's not impossible for us to not compete.
Okay, so it's like a referral network?
Yeah. It could be a referral network and a project collaboration network.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the hardships are the businesses that come out from the artists being their best. So when the artists, the members of the Waking Hearts, learn leadership, entrepreneurship, and connection, they'll be creating a hardship. It's like just imagine like a ship, like a vessel. It's really a business where they're doing basically everything that the Waking Hearts does, but with their business. For example, we have a group, a producer that does music, and he produces music. So he has a hardship of music production, and he also has like patrons and community and partners, and he services the community by providing free recordings to artists. And the reason why he's doing that is because he learned through the Waking Hearts the new way of doing things, where you include a service part to your business at the beginning when you're starting. Like every business in a hardship is going to have a service element to the community. That way, when we have, the more we create hardships by training artists, the more services to the community we're creating.
Sounds great.
Okay. And they're also for profit, so the artists are actually making, I mean, they could be non-profit, but the artists are making money off their businesses, and they're happy.
So it's like a franchise of the Walking Hearts. Like
they have like
social setting.
Right, they definitely have like some leniency to spread the brand, because they will feel like they're part of it, they're members of it. It's kind of like saying America, and then this is an American business. It's a Waking Hearts business, you know.
And do you get profit from their business, or it's independent?
No, we'll have, it's independent. We'll definitely have some kind of like system where they give back or service the Waking Hearts in some way. For example, by providing, I don't know how I'm getting a call while I have a call. By providing the services that they have to the Waking Hearts for free or something like that. for example, whenever I have artists that need recording, my producer friend will record them, right? Because he's affiliated.
Right.
And then that way the working parts will be even stronger and be able to do everything else even better, right? So then like all of this gets enhanced, everything gets enhanced. And that's it for that. That's it for the. This is like the overview of the players in the whole thing. Any questions about that?
So, so the artist wouldn't pay like dues or a service fee or anything to be a part of the network, but they would pay with like in-kind support to other artists and to the group. Is that right?
It's like optional, yeah. I want to make it so that there will be some kind of fee for the members that are learning, because it's going to be somewhat of like a continuing education with programs and stuff, and it's going to be a lot like it's going to be, what do you call it, subsidized by the funding that we get from foundations, right?
Right.
But
right.
they might pay some membership at some point, or instead in kind, like they donate their art or something. That's how it's been working right now. I haven't made any money because I've been getting in kind donations from the artists by them being there, you know. But that has to change. Anyway, this is the main plan. This is the best I could compress it in like one sentence. So the plan is to produce en masse waking art and dominate culture with awareness of freedom, peace, and unity, and expand throughout the world. So you know how cultures start out from cults, which are like subcultures, right? Small groups with one type of thing that they like, or like the values that they share, right? Then the one that is the most dominating is the one that becomes the main culture, right? For example, right now, American culture is the dominating culture. So if you go to Japan, there is like American things. They speak English. They have like American style shows, and the problem with that is that it also comes with the decay of what that culture brings, right? And we know that American culture and capitalism has a really it's decaying rapidly right now, right? We're at the melting point of capitalism here in the U.S. And how do we know that? Is because of the gap. The gap is widening. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like some people are extremely successful and some people are completely broke. So ultimately, creating a world movement, art revival, and self-sustainable society for the souls of its people and the world. That's where I get a little more like esoteric. But the idea is to have a second renaissance, right? Where it shifts the world into a world where everybody does art, has a default. So everybody's an artist, and then we have an art society, similar to when in Athens, Greece, they had a political society and everybody was involved in politics, and that's why shit was happening the way it's supposed to, because everybody was involved. We'd have the same, but it'd be all about self-expression, which I think is human purpose, really, for us to express ourselves and tell a story through whatever we create. So I'm just kind of like pushing everybody to their purpose, you know, which in turn would become a spiritual evolution if it happens. Actually, when it happens, so I'm pretty confident in it. And what I mean by spiritual evolution is really that next level where we're gonna say that humans are now at the next level human. instead of like we destroyed ourselves, it's like we went to this like higher self, and that I am completely certain that it's through art that we can achieve that. Because when I look at artists, I look at the best kind of people there are. I've never seen an artist be like racist or like divisive. Like there is some dramatic things that they encounter in their life, but in terms of their true selves and authentic selves, they're like pretty unifying, like higher consciousness people. They want to.
They're connecting to the 99%. They're connecting to the world of creativity and creation, which is what
Right.
unites us all.
Exactly.
Which is where that human potential comes in.
Correct. They're closer to the potentiality of humanity, right? Self-expression and even divinity. Like, yeah. Anyway, that's it for that. And finally, I have this board right here. These are the actual things that we're going to be doing. So, to my understanding, that thing about capitalism coming down is very serious and it's happening. I've read several, like we already got some taste of it with the housing crash, with the wars. Like we're in the midst of nuclear war, and all these horrifying omens, right? Anyway, so when it comes down to a system, reshaping it doesn't really work that well when it's that rotten. We tried. We just had Bernie Sanders run for president and he got eaten up, right? So like that was the last stand for us to fix the system. Through the system, right? So what I've learned is that instead we have to create a new system on like to its side and more or less siphon the energy that the old system is still giving off into it, so that when it breaks down, we at least have like a push, kind of like a wave for the next wave. So a lot of the programs that the Waking Hearts runs are programs for a crisis recovery, for a crisis scenario, where like the dollar ceases to, like there's like a downfall of the dollar, and there's economic distraught, world depression, stuff like that. And it's funny that I can say that like very confident because it's happened before.
No, it's happening.
And it's happening now, right? Like we're not letting it into it, but let's just assume in this portion we're assuming that it's very close to happening, and if we don't do something, then we're screwed. So what we're doing here is it's called a freedom cell. I know that's kind of like a oxymoron, but whatever. Crisis recovery. So, for example, we have the revitalization of leaders. So right now, the problem with the world, one of the problems with the world, is the fact that leaders are all like asleep. The reason we took ML is because we were awakening the leaders within us. But in the regular landscape of society, it's like everybody's like, oh, let someone else deal with it, right? I can't do it. I don't have enough power. So that's the revitalization of leaders. A good example of that is like veteran support, right? So veterans have gone through a robust leadership training for going to war. But right now they're feeling completely left ousted by society. So I want to reintegrate them and turn them into artists, which I have a program for that. It's called Make Art My Work. Then I want to establish a resource hub, which I also have right now. And the idea of that is to provide leaders with the things that they need to be leaders. Because sometimes what's crippling about failed leadership is because you don't have enough resources. You just couldn't do it without the resources, right? Then ongoing training. You which is what I talk about here. Continuing education, which is like I want to establish like an academy style, like with the philosophers from Greece, or like the academies in Florence during the previous Renaissance, that you could go to an academy, look for a master. It's kind of like martial arts for art. And then project expansion, just having leaders run their own projects and be supported by the working hearts. So, I want to do this with the city and service the low-income people. Perfect, we can help you do that and we can empower you. Right? Next, we have sustainability. So, this is important because when the crisis happens, we're going to need a shit ton of leaders. We're going to need everybody to stand up and do something. Otherwise, I don't know, the powers that be will completely destroy us. Sustainability. So I want to establish food growth programs so that where we learn how to grow our own food. Bartering economics, where we learn how to exchange without money. Housing systems. Health education, like holistic healing, for example. Environmental activism, like environmental recovery, basically, like planting trees. And network community building. That's going to be very important because when the shit hits the fan, we need networks and be very clear of who's our community so we can take care of each other. Finally, I have the implementation of the new system. So here is like this is like what we're gonna be doing while we deal with the situation. We're gonna be creating and setting up a new system. So I'm creating a heart currency. It's basically art currency. I name everything that's heart. So it's a great heart currency. It's a new currency system basically. Then we have Higher Vibe Life, which is it's one of our waking businesses partners. They're basically doing the same as I'm doing, but with holistic practitioners. So they're gonna, yeah. So they're gonna be the ones that establish the security aspect of things, like how we're gonna stay healthy and safe. And then the Venus Project. You've heard of the Venus Project, right? No? You heard of the Venus Project, Dan?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so there was this guy. It's an amazing guy. He's kind of like us. He's like 80 something, but he knew that this was gonna happen like 40 years ago or something. So he spent the last 40 years building a self-sustainable city. Completely self-sustainable with like free energy, and it's completely designed. It's ready to like be built, and he's come up with everything about it. So at that point, when we implement the new system, we would be part of the Venus Project and build a new city. This is like kind of like not like very recent stuff. Like I mean, it's not gonna come very close to now, but it's in the picture, you know. And then finally, we're going to be establishing service centers and institutions similar to churches and like monasteries, but of art. So we're going to be able to have people come in and go to church, basically, but it really be just like them doing art. And kind of like a YMCA, but for art.
Yeah.
So, and then that's how we're going to recover the world. And that's the gist of it. That's like my vision and what I'm committed to, my mission. Everything that I do has to do with this. And that's about it. Do you have any questions? Right there.
No, thank you so much for calling and having me included in this presentation, Rico. it's an even bigger vision than I thought it was. I think there are probably like 2/3 of it that I think is awesome and really agree with and support. I probably have a more moderate vision of where the world is heading than you, and a less anti-capitalist view. Like I think that in my view, I don't think we're going to have sort of an apocalyptic calamity anytime soon. Although you could be right, and I don't think capitalism is going to go away. I think it's just going to be modified to continue to have to adjust itself. But that's my perspective, and I certainly respect yours. Regardless, I think the idea of art being a huge blessing to communities is absolutely true, and artists needing community support to like bring out their vision and have them not be lonely and maximize the impact that they can have is absolutely true. And the kind of organizing and partnering that you're talking about is really cool. And as someone who used to go to Christian churches and doesn't anymore, I really love the idea of art centers that would be an alternative community building space. So I think it's a really big vision. It's very cool.
Yes, thank you. And as a rebuttal to the capitalism thing, the reason why I'm so confident in it is because it's really happening now. It's like the crisis scenario is now. Like if you go to my neighborhood in Miami, it's war ridden, and there's actually, and like places like Detroit and stuff like that, they've suffered really big losses, and there's a lot of towns and cities that are really coming down. That's why, like, I know that capitalism in itself does have its own like balancing feature. The thing is, like, it usually uses the weak as their support, and we can't allow that anymore. And this would also alleviate that.
Gotcha. Well, I think that's a larger debate, which I'm happy to have with you sometime.
Yeah. All right. So that's it. Now read the stuff online and see. Now you have the big picture. Now you can join me basically at mind level, because not many people like have seen this, and it's hard for me to go in the minutia and the details without them seeing the big picture. But you're a smart man, so I'm happy to have being able to share with you.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. It's a great background, and it makes me a lot more excited to go spend time with the website and follow up with you afterwards.